When is it going to happen? I saw you sitting under the fig tree. So here, Philip, who brought him, was studying the book. And here they discovered traces of his coming. So a man makes the claim that it happened to me. Well, you haven't found him because you met a man in whom it happened. I tell you, it has happened to me. I have found David. And David has called me my Lord, my Father, and the rock of my salvation. But you can go out and say, I met a man who has had the experience recorded in Scripture concerning Jesus Christ. But his name is not Jesus Christ. His name happens to be Neville, a simple man with no educational, no financial, no social background, an ordinary man. Yet in him it has happened. So you can go and say, I have found him in whom the Scriptures wrote, or of whom they wrote. But you really haven't found him. If you find me, you haven't found him. Because you have to find him only when you find the Son. You can find one in whom the Son appeared and called him Father, but you haven't found the Son. When you find the Son, you find yourself, because you are the Father. So you can find a man, if you believe him, and you can trust him, and he tells you exactly what happened to him. And he will show you the passages of Scripture related to his own experiences. And you will trust him implicitly and go out and say, I know a man in whom the story of Christ unfolded. But like Philip, you can say, I have found him of whom Moses in the law and the prophets wrote. But then later on you're going to say, show me the Father, if that's all that you know. Because you can't say you're from Neville. He is not the Father. The Father is in you, and the Son is in you. And when the Son appears and calls you Father, then and only then do you know the Father. So no one knows who the Son is except the Father. And no one knows who the Father is except the Son. Therefore no man has ever seen God. But the only Son who is in the bosom of the Father, he has made him known. And so only when he comes out of your own bosom, your own head, and he explodes and stands before you, do you know the Son. And then and only then do you know the Father. Although you can trust me, and I hope you do, for I am telling you what I have experienced. I am not speculating. I am not theorizing. I never considered myself a scholar. So I never study Scriptures from the scholarly point of view. I do not speak Sanskrit and Aramaic and Latin and all these tongues into which the very book was translated. I understand a little bit of Hebrew, enough to understand, but not to really carry on a conversation in Hebrew. And so I could never claim that I understand any of these tongues. And the only tongue that I really know is English. And I would not consider myself a scholar in the English tongue. I consider myself one capable of expressing myself as I have experienced certain things. I think the words will come that will be adequate to the experience that I can tell it as clearly as needed. Outside of that, I would never claim scholarship. So I trust that you will trust me in the truth of what I'm talking about. But you will not know the Father till you find the Son. And when you find the Son, you're going to find David. And David is going to reveal you as God the Father. I'll tell you now, you are now God the Father. And you won't die because you can't die. You are the immortal God. But you die in the sense that you had to completely forget who you are to become man. But you will one day awaken and you will find David. And at that very moment, memory returns. And you know who you are, and you also know who everyone else in the world is. While they're here in this world, they can all be used, and they are used as symbols in your dream. The power that rests in God. And when he finds his Son, he returns to that power. To stop time. At any moment in time, he stops it. And nothing can move. And he can change the motive of the thing that he stopped. And then when he releases that time, it moves in an entirely different direction. Change the motive of an individual or a whole community or the world. And they will simply awaken with a changed motive and not know what had happened. They will think that this is all what I always wanted to do, and they will simply fulfill His will. That's power. You don't rub out anyone. Don't change anyone. You simply stop time and change the motive of the things that are in time. And when you release the power, which you arrested not there, but within yourself, they were to change motive, continue, but not to fulfill their former intention, but the new one that you have now ordered. That's power. And that comes when you find who you are. And you find who you are only as you find the Son. For no one can tell me who I really am but my Son.